The season is a week away for the Bison in Charleston. We're heading there today. Head coach Maurice Drayton to the Citadel previews the opening game with the Bison. Hot Mike starts now.
Hot Mike with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No. I like what Dom's doing.
Okay.
Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. It was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mike.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something.
Coach Dom Izzo, WDAY in Fargo, North Dakota.
Can you give me a layup or something?
Hot Mike. Presented by Northwestern Mutual.
That program is second to none.
On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Good Friday morning. Welcome to the We Made It edition of Hot Mike on WDAY Extra, KSFL. Good morning, everybody in Sioux Falls. KMBN, good morning, everybody in Western South Dakota. And Inforum.com. Happy Friday. August the 22nd is here, 2025. It is the day we've been waiting, well, basically all summer for, because summer is done today. We got high school football on tap today, college football on tap tomorrow. As that's why I said we made it. It's officially here. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am Dom Izzo, host of said program. Welcome to our final summer edition of the show. This is it. Monday, it's go time with everything happening. It is officially game week getting underway there. Lot to unpack today. We are going to cover the gamut on an opening night of high school football in the state of North Dakota. We're going to check it at a couple of locales today. Game night for one team. And then tomorrow, a really neat deal going on in Mandan for some 9-man teams to get a chance to play on turf, which never happens outside if they make it to the Fargo Dome. We'll preview that coming up later on in our show, which looks like, by the way, weather is going to be fall-esque for the opening Friday of the high school football season after some pretty serious storms blew through. Hope everybody's okay in southeastern North Dakota again after dealing with what happened in June. So some tornadoes down near Hankinson way last night. So the temperature has cooled off a bit, which it's going to be perfect for football over the next 2 days. It's a Vikings game night as well. Minnesota plays its last preseason game tonight, and then the cuts will happen. That's the intriguing part of the game. If you need any reason to watch tonight, if you're not a diehard, it's the quarterback situation. Are the Vikes going to keep 3 guys? That's the issue surrounding tonight's game. Because we know JJ's the guy. We're assuming Sam Howell is going to be the backup. Are they going to keep Max Brosmer, the rookie from the Gophers? Is Brett Rippon, former Jet great, going to stick around? That's probably the one reason you want to watch tonight's game, at least for a bit, against Tennessee. And it's nationally televised tonight for the Vikings and the Titans. Each network has to pick a game in the preseason that's required of their contract. So NBC got the Hall of Fame game, which that's an easy one because it's the first game. Everybody's going to watch that. Fox had the Bills and the Bears on Sunday. Amazon had the Giants and the Patriots. ESPN had the Commanders Bengals on Monday. So CBS is the last one to go, and they get a week 3 preseason game where nobody's going to play. Cam Ward's not playing tonight, I don't think, for the Titans. So they get the rest of it, and that's tonight as well. So you got that because you ain't watching the Twins. And I say that we have our whole Twins segment today. Cory Provus will be coming up later on in our show. We'll save all of our Twins chatter for there because there is nothing I'm going to show you from yesterday's ball game. They got beat again by the Sacramento Athletics to be swept. And remember, we're talking in June about, wow, the Twins took 3 of 4, and boy, how bad the A's are. Well, as we sit here now on August 22nd, the A's have a better record than the Twins. The Twins have lost 8 of the 10 series since the All-Star break. That's not great. And I believe they're on pace for 102 losses now, which is, I think, the 7th or 8th time in the history of Target Field that the Twins have done that. Other than that, everything's great. Pablo started and didn't go long last night in St. Paul. We'll save all of that for our conversation with Cory coming up at 9:30. As the Twins open up a weekend set with the White Sox. Remember we were saying how bad Chicago is? Well, the Twins are bound to determine to maybe catch them in the American League Central standings. So we'll do that later on in the show. Let's start with some Minnesota Lynx highlights. Something happened last night that has not happened all year long. The Lynx have lost back-to-back games after the tough one they got beat on Tuesday night against the Liberty. Last night playing the Atlanta Dream, who are right there with the Liberty in the top half of the WNBA standings. And as I mentioned, they came up short because they're still without Nafisa Collier, who they're hoping will come back maybe this weekend. They've got back-to-back games with the Fever. We picked this game up in the fourth quarter. It's a 60-54 Lynx lead. Alicia Gray gets open here, knocks down the three and the foul. Lead is down to 2. Now we're tied at 60. Dejanay Carrington denied by Gray. And then she does everything here. She's going to knock down the triple. She had 27 last night. And Atlanta leads. 22 seconds to go. Lynx are down 4. Jessica Shepard gets underneath and scores. That cuts it to 2. It's 75-73. After a timeout. Gray, they can't get it across half court here. That's to be a violation. And Minnesota has the ball. So now, 8 seconds to go. Here comes Courtney Williams, wide open, but can't get it to go. They keep possession, though. 2 seconds to go. They can't get it to Courtney Williams. She loses it again. And the Dream, hold on, she had it and lost it. And for the first time all year, Minnesota has lost back-to-back games, 75-73. That was a fun one last night. Atlanta gets the win, led by Gray's 27. Ryan Howard had 16 for Atlanta as well. 4 Lynx were in double figures last night. Shepard had 15. Kayla McBride had 15. Carlton had 16. But not enough as the Lynx dropped to 28-7 on the year. And they're right back at it tonight. We'll feature this coming up later on the show in our What to Watch segment as they've got Indiana tonight and then the Fever come to Target Center on Sunday. There's still really no update on Nafisa Collier or Caitlin Clark for that matter. The 2 stars of the league each have been out. Clark's been out for almost 2 months now, and Collier's been out for at least a month. That neither one, maybe they're saving here. The playoffs are right around the corner. The Lynx have 7 games remaining in the regular season. That begins in the middle of September. So maybe each going to get back. The Fever are locked into a playoff spot right now. Top 8 make it. As we speak, the Lynx still have a 5.5-game lead on Atlanta, the team that they lost to last night. Good ball game, and hopefully some of these stars can get back, especially for the postseason. That's when we want to see them playing after what's been a dynamite regular season, especially for Minnesota. One other thing I wanted to spend some time on here, and I promised our listening and viewing audience I wouldn't do this unless there was something monumental to share. And that's in regards to a little bit of the college football playoff and the potential expansion of it, because there's been way too much on-air time, especially on this program, spoken about it. Yesterday, we found out the SEC announced that they're going to go to a 9-game schedule beginning in 2026. Why that's relevant in this market and what we cover is simple. The guest we had on yesterday, we had Mercer's head football coach on, Mike Jacobs yesterday. Mercer plays Auburn. We talked about that. Go back and you can podcast it yesterday on the show. That's the final game of the season for Mercer before the FCS playoffs. And traditionally, the SEC has done this, which to the people that cover big-time college football, they roll their eyes when those games come up on the schedule. Like, oh, boy, not a great weekend here because Alabama's got, Tennessee Tech, or Mercer's playing Auburn this week, or Georgia's taking on Samford, right? Enjoy it now. As I tweeted yesterday, there are cancellations coming. So for FCS teams that are looking for games in week, for a 12th game, maybe in week 0, there's going to be ones coming because the SEC will add a conference game, and they're still mandated to play another game against a Power 4 opponent or Notre Dame. So who do you think is going to get squeezed out there? Yeah, the FCS teams are. And I can tell you for most of those contracts, they are pretty lucrative if you buy them out. Anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million. I believe the Bison buyout for Oregon is $1 million, which again for Oregon is a drop in the bucket, but it's still $1 million for that game in 2028. But that's how it affects our area, the teams that we cover, the teams that we like to focus on, because that's pretty cool. I don't think there's any doubt. You go back decade plus when Georgia Southern, the year that they nearly beat the Bison up here, they played Saban's Alabama team. That was a big deal, regardless of the fact. Georgia, the following year, they beat Florida and the Swamp in 2013, the year they were ineligible as they were transitioning up to FBS. Those are the games that you remember, and they're not going to happen anymore. The negative side, glass half empty guy, would tell you that's probably going to be the case with other leagues. You know, the Big Ten already is at 9, and they play FCS schools every other year. Like the Gophers have Northwestern State, I believe, this year. Then they play UND in 2028. That's how the Big Ten schedules its. If you have an odd number of home games, they normally schedule an FCS team as part of that. But that's the news there. And now the whole holdup was the SEC to go to 9, so then they could then employ the model of going to 16 teams with the 5 champions and 11 at large bids to the tournament. That maybe this can happen. Possibly, I'm not going to get the cart before the horse on that because we've been down that road before. But I think, as you look ahead to 2026 games, I'm just going to look at the SEC here real quick before we set up the show. We got a fun one, packed show here today. Let's do this real quick. And my favorite website is FB Schedules here of SEC. We know one, as we talked about it yesterday with Auburn and Mercer. But let's go to, all right, here we go. Sorry. Future schedules. That's what we want. Okay, we'll just pick a couple randoms here in the SEC. Florida, because they're 2026. They have Campbell. Nope. Sorry. Not going to happen. That'll get bought out. Thanks, but no thanks. LSU, 2026. They have McNeese in October. Probably Gonzo. Let's keep it rolling here. Texas A&M. They normally play one. Tarleton State. Unless Tarleton moves up between then and now, I would bet you that game's probably not going to happen. How about our friends in Georgia? They play Tennessee State. Right now, it's got a TBA next to it. I'm going to give you, it's going to be a DNP. Did not play next to that one. It sucks. Arkansas, they have North Alabama. And these games for these schools, let's get a couple more. South Carolina, they normally play one. Towson, probably not. Are the Mizzou, about an hour back up? They play Pine Bluff. I don't think so. And because they'll probably add a game earlier in the year, conference game, and rework other Power 4 scheduled games there. Let's do 2 more. How about for our guy Tim Purden, Vanderbilt? Austin Peay, who play the Bison next year. I wouldn't think so. They also have Delaware on there, but remember, Delaware is an FBS school now. Who else are we forgetting? How about Bama? What's Bama got? Bama doesn't next year. So they're in the clear. They've got West Virginia, South Florida, and Florida State. But they have, Alabama has future game already scheduled with UT Martin. Not going to happen. And my point on this is those games for the FCS schools, that's their lifeblood. If they're getting $500,000 to $750,000, that pays for a ton in the athletic department. and those games now are gone, are donezo, I can't imagine that they're too thrilled about that this morning, waking up, finding out the news on that. So I would keep our eyes peeled on that. You might see a host of cancellations coming here over the next few weeks and months now with this being official. We have a packed show coming up for you today. Our guest lineup is expanding even as we speak since we've come on the air. Our guest lineup is brought to you by Northwestern Mutual. Cory Provus, I mentioned, will join us at 9:30 to chat everything on the Minnesota Twins. Twins are in Chicago for the weekend. Get a couple of injury updates as well on Pablo Lopez, who threw last night in St. Paul. We'll do that at 9:30. At 10 o'clock, Josh Krivarchka will join us, head coach at Langdon, Area-Munich. They are one of the favorites in Class A, a new-look Class A. Kindred, gone. Central Cass, gone. How's it look for the Cardinals in 2025? They open tonight. We'll preview that coming up at 10. I mentioned we are just over a week away from the Bison playing football in Charleston, South Carolina. Head football coach Maurice Drayton of the Citadel is back with us. Give us the updated look at his team. He told us back in May when we were 100 days out from kickoff that he doesn't have a parking spot because it was taken by the Bison tailgaters. We'll see if he got it back. That's coming up at 10:15. At 10:35, Brian Nieuwsma will join us, AD at Flasher High School. Big weekend out west in Mandan. The Region 4 Rumble is back, taking place at Mandan at Starion Field tomorrow morning to tomorrow night. If you love nine-man ball, and we do, they got 5 games going tomorrow, starting at 9 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. Our guy Mike Zier was talking about it. Beach is playing out there. A host of really good. New Salem's out there. Host of really good nine-man schools are playing. We'll get the update on that. I believe this is the second or third year they've done it, and keeps getting bigger and better. And teams want to get out there and play. They get the chance to play on the turf. We'll get an update from Brian on that coming up at 10:35. So, a action-packed, football-heavy show on this Friday. We'll break. We come back. We will get you fully ready for Week 0. We got games tomorrow. Cancel all your plans. Football's on. Hot Mike, off and rolling. We're back after this. Uh-oh, we got some news. Shefty reporting the Vikings have inquired about trading for Panthers wide receiver Adam Thielen, per league sources. We chatted about this yesterday, I believe, on the show after the Harrison Phillips deal went down, that wide receiver is certainly an area where the Vikes are thin, considering we know Jordan Addison is out for the first 3 games because of suspension. Jalen Naylor got hurt in the second of the 2 joint practices against the Patriots, and after that, nobody's been able to catch a pass. Lucky Jackson dropped about 8 balls thrown to him the other night. So, how about the ultimate reunion here? Now, Thielen is languishing in Carolina with what's going on with the Panthers and Bryce Young. I don't know. Is this an opportunity here? I think Kevin O'Connell was asked about this, I think on Kay Adams' show, and had a wry smile about a potential reunion with Thielen. I mean, right now, what other options do they have? It's trading for a veteran wide receiver. I'm just looking quickly what Thielen's making with the Panthers here on our friends at Spot Track here. Thielen is the 6th highest paid guy on the Panthers, which is crazy. Thielen's cap hit is over $10 million this year. Said to be 8.7 in cash, 8.5 million dead cap hit. I don't know what all that means, but his cap hit is over 10 mil. So he's just under Bryce Young, who's the 5th highest play. Couldn't tell you the 4 highest paid guys of the Panthers. I would have no idea who they are. They're all linemen. Damian Lewis is a guard. Derek Brown, defensive lineman. Robert Hunt's a guard, and Taylor Moton right tackle. I know him, who makes his cap hit is 31 mil. Whew. So there you go. Stand up DL. We may have a reunion coming with the hometown kid that potentially could percolate here. This is what Kwesi has done in the past. Think about it. Last year was Stephon Gilmore. They signed late. They have done this to fill out once they've gone through camp, seen what they have or don't have, and I mean, what are the Panthers gonna ask for? First off, the Vikes don't have any trade assets to begin with after the Dallas Turner trade. I don't even know how many. Can you look that up for me? How many picks they actually have in 2026? I know they got a couple from the Jets the other day, but they're at the back end, 6th and 7th round guys, or selections, that is. I can't imagine you want to get more than that for Thielen. You're not giving up a day 2 pick. Let's just say that. No 2nd or 3rd round picks. I don't even know if the Vikes have to begin with to potentially part with. But something to watch here over the next couple days because they got to do something to address wide receiver. If you're not going to throw J.J. McCarthy out there in his first start at Soldier Field on Monday Night Football and only know that the 2 guys he knows he can throw the football to are Justin Jefferson and T.J. Hawkinson, because you know the Bears are going to be game planning for there. They actually have 9 picks. How many did they get the other day? They got 3 the other day. But you can't have your rookie quarterback go out there. I know he's not a rookie, but he hasn't played yet. Those can't be the only 2 options. Or Josh Oliver be the number 3 option for the Vikes. So we'll see. They're hard-pressed to have a more popular player than Thielen. Just not. Anytime we would go down for Vikes camp or any Vikings games we covered, Adam was awesome to deal with. He told numerous times to us, just, hey, WDAY is my station. I'm just saying that. When we went the first guy talked to after the Vikes lost the NFC Championship game in Philly. Thielen right there, stand-up guy, talked to me for 5 minutes. It was great. And they just got their brains beat in a game short of the Super Bowl, playing in Minneapolis. They had a chance to do that. So we'll see. I think KOC would not be opposed to it. Has Thielen really done anything in Atlanta the last couple of years either? I'm sure he'd like maybe a chance to come home. So we'll see over the next couple days or it could be a couple hours, knowing how things work in the National Football League. All right, as I mentioned off the top, we have made it. Tomorrow, there's football on. And it's not preseason football. It is games that count. College football begins tomorrow. And this might be the true last week 0 as we know it. Next year, the FCS will get its own weekend in the final weekend of August, and then there will be a handful of FBS games. There'll be that Ireland game I don't think is going away anytime soon. North Carolina and TCU are going to play in the Ireland game next year. But this is it. Remember when there was only one game on this weekend? 10 years ago, North Dakota State and Montana played. Nobody else played. It was fabulous. And then, of course, the big boys thought, well, hey, we got to get on that, and this is what we have. So tomorrow, your FCS slate looks like this. We previewed the big game yesterday on the show. Mercer and UC Davis will play tomorrow night. That's the FCS kickoff game. These are just a couple of them. There's actually a few more than this on the FCS slate tomorrow. Incarnate Word and Nichols going to get it started tomorrow at noon on ESPN2. That'll be dynamite. That game is in Louisiana. UIW is a projected top 5 team. There'll be some people interested in watching that tomorrow. Idaho State faces UNLV tomorrow. That's both an FCS and FBS game at Allegiant Stadium at 3 o'clock. You've got Tarleton State against Portland State at 3:30 tomorrow. That's on ESPN2. So you've got 2 schools out of Texas I know that plenty of high expectations for. Tarleton made it to the second round last year, made its playoff debut, lost to South Dakota. Then you mentioned, we can throw that graphic back up there, the UC Davis-Mercer game at 6 o'clock on ESPN. And then on ABC, we got football tomorrow night. Weekend crew, get ready. This is the first of many a night where you're going to be late on Saturday. It starts tomorrow. North Carolina Central and Southern will play in the MEAC SWAC Challenge. That game is in Atlanta, 6:30 on WDAY. Right after we're done with the news, we got football. So that's the FCS slate tomorrow. You got 5 games starting at noon, wrapping up at about 10 o'clock. I'm just telling you, if you don't want to go outside tomorrow, you've got my seal of approval on that. I don't think I can do that tomorrow, but if you want to, go for it. Now, the FBS, of course, couldn't be left in the cold. And we've already previewed a couple of these games, but this is the lineup tomorrow. I believe College Game Day is on tomorrow, prior to the big one, the Iowa State-Kansas State game. Farmageddon is going to Ireland. Our guy Chris Kleiman, we were trying to hook up in Ireland, but they couldn't do it in terms of what they have going on. So it looks like our streak of doing interviews in Ireland on Hot Mic is probably over, which is too bad. But there's so many connections tomorrow in this game. Looking forward to that. That starts 11 a.m. tomorrow on ESPN. We mentioned the Idaho State-UNLV game. We're not going to give that any more attention. Fresno and Kansas, the new stadium in Lawrence. Matt Entz makes his debut as head coach at Fresno. That's at 5:30 on Fox tomorrow. Then you've got Sam Houston in Western Kentucky, some FCS love now in the big boy division. That's at 6 on CBS Sports Network. And then CBS has a game tomorrow from Hawaii. Our guy Emmett Kenny and Stanford taking on Hawaii. So there's a local angle to week 0 tomorrow, not just the Iowa State-Kansas State game. Our guy Shanley's Emmett Kenny kick. How about him? He's gotten to kick game winner in Syracuse last year, right? He's gone from one end of the country to the complete opposite now. He's off the Continental 48. He's back for his bonus year. We'll be keeping our eyes on that. So that's the games tomorrow. Again, 11 a.m. till about 10. I don't know. That sounds pretty good to me. Dynamite lineup of games. And then we're off and rolling. Then we got games Thursday. And then everybody into the pool on Saturday. Going to be fun. It's here. Can't wait for it. Much more football chatter coming up in our second hour. We'll break now. We come back. Cory Provus will join us from Chicago. The Twins open up a series with the White Sox. We'll preview that on the other side of the break. Hot Mic back after this on WDAY Extra and Inforum.com.
Deep to left center field. Back it goes and gone. The 0-2 pitch. He struck him out swinging at 101. Swinging a drive. Left field and deep. Back it goes and gone. And the Twins walk it off again.
All right, it's Friday at 9:30, which means our guy Cory Provus joins us. His appearance is brought to us by Weston's Tire Service as the Twins get ready for a road trip now that'll take them eventually to Toronto, but a weekend set against the White Sox in Chicago. You know, we were chatting back in early June when the Twins went out to Sacramento and took care, but boy, the A's aren't very good. And now, as the season's unfolded, they have identical records, Cory. We just kind of shake your head after what happened over the last 3 days.
You know, Dom, what I was thinking about yesterday, you know, it was a clunker of a game. Twins were flat. But Trevor Plouffe and I, we did that series in Sacramento together. And the Twins, they won 3 out of 4, and most of them were lopsided games. In fact, then the A's blew out the Twins and David Festa that 4th game. But what we did say about the A's was, if you look at this lineup and you go position by position, and this is when Nick Kurtz was hurt. He didn't even play in that series, but already he showcased some skills that were going to make him stand out. That you thought, okay, there's a lineup here. I mean, they got to figure out the pitching and obviously the home numbers and how hitter friendly the ballpark is. All that's going to be a problem. And their bullpen too wasn't very good. But you looked at that lineup and you thought, this is a lineup that can mash, and this is a lineup that they got all these guys going at the same time. They're going to be a formidable lineup. And, man, even without the great Jacob Wilson, great contact hitter with some pop. He's like Luis Arraez, younger with more power, and I think a better defender. And Denzel Clark doesn't hit very much, but he's as exciting as anybody defensively in center. Yep. Those two guys were down. That team can rake, and that's a team that if you're in the AL West right now and Seattle's and Houston both slumping at the same time, the A's aren't going to win the division, but they have a chance to really be a spoiler. They have a series left. They start tonight in Seattle, and I think they have one more series at home with Houston. They can make a difference, not so much for them, but maybe keeping a team out or knocking a team from the division crown more to a wild card. I don't think you want to mess with that team right now. That lineup is really, really good.
Langoliers is really good, which I don't think I realized till he was hitting bombs on the Twins this week. Tyler Soderstrom's a really good player too. They somehow they always do that, and then they'll go off to bigger market teams and be stars there. That's how it's worked with the A's for 20 years.
I think it leads to a more pressing Twins question because, and granted, look, they're hot, and we saw some guys, really, put up gaudy numbers, but these are high picks, first round picks that are ascending. Why is that not happening here? Right? If you take a step back and you look at it, from above the clouds, why is that not happening with the Twins? Why are so many first-round picks plateauing, maybe dropping off a little bit, guys that should be in their prime? What is going on? And I think it's a fair question without an easy answer, but that to me is the cause of this. The Twins lineup just massively underperformed. And yes, the pitching numbers were atrocious in June, and that began to send this thing south. But it boils down to this was a lineup that was expected to score, on average, close to 5 runs a game. Not even close. Yeah. And they were supposed to hit, not even close. Slugging, home runs. And this is even before all the trades. I mean, they just didn't hit. And that, to me, is the most pertinent question that needs to be, and I'm sure it's already happening. This is not just going to sit back and, hey, we'll look at it in October and November, but what is going on? Why are these talented players who put in the work, it's not for lack of effort, but why are they not getting any better? And that, to me, is a very important question that is worth addressing in a variety of ways this offseason, Dom.
I think that's a great point. We may have touched on this last week, so I apologize if it's a repeat subject here. But to me, there are 3 guys I think the clock is ticking on: Larnach, Wallner, and Julien. This is, I think, a really huge month if they're going to be part of the solution or if they're not going to be with the team, in my opinion.
Well, I think we're learning where Eddie Julien ranks right now because Cody Clemens is like 5 for his last 50, and he's still playing. Yeah. So what does that tell you? Yep. I just think that, Eddie right now is a liability at first base. I think that plays into it. But what do you have with this guy? I mean, the game he had against Skubal was awesome. Let him ride that a little bit. Yep. He's feeling good. He had a good game. I'd play him. I would play him. And, Cody has had some amazing moments. Some of the best individual moments of the Twins this season. I think many of them I think back on, if they don't involve Byron Buxton, they involve offensively some big swings, some game-changing swings from Cody Clemens. But right now he's fighting it. So yeah. I think we're learning about where Julien is at right now. And look, Royce is showing frustration too in a way, Dom, that we have never seen before. Yeah. He is full of energy, full of positivity. It's a humbling game. You fail more than you succeed. And I think Royce showcased and displayed emotion, and I don't blame him, and nobody should, in a way that we have not seen too much publicly. We don't know what happens behind the dugout. I mean, Chris Jimenez, big leaguer, long time. He was a catcher and then ended up pitching a lot of games too for some bad Twins teams. But when his career ended, he had a great line, and he said, I learned a lot more about Joe Mauer than I ever knew before because I never knew Joe to show frustration, but he did. He just didn't show it. He didn't show it in the dugout. He'd open the door and go behind the scenes and go to town in a bat rack or a punching bag or a door or what have you. We just never saw it. But Jimenez would say, it's cool. He's human. That's awesome. And I think that probably happens more than we're led on to believe. But, your point about Larnach and Wallner, Royce, these are, again, high picks. Yeah. And just what is going on? Why are these guys like Trevor Larnach? To me, the biggest puzzling fact is why have his numbers gone down against fastballs? But everything else has gone up, and against fastballs, he hasn't put up the same numbers. That's been a puzzling question, I'm sure, for him and for many.
Where are you at with Brooks Lee? He had a great week. Is he in that mix too? Because they know that Royce Lewis is going to be third. We're pretty sure that Keyshaw is going to play second base. Lee looks like he fits in at short, but is he in that mix too, in your opinion, or no?
I think he looks better. I feel better about Brooks Lee right now than I do about a lot of guys. And namely, he's playing an awesome short.
Yeah, did that yesterday. Had a great play yesterday.
If you look at sprint speed, and we're trying to build something on this with our friends at Baseball Savant and StatCast, because there's something to be said about, while you don't have this great sprint speed, and Brooks doesn't have that, he's slow, but man, instinctually, lateral movement, there's something, obviously a coach's son, but man, let him play short. He is a big league shortstop. He's got range, and even if he doesn't have the same range, sneaky good arm strength. And even when he has to make those plays to his left, when he has to spin around and almost blindly throw, those throws are on target. What does that tell you about this guy? He belongs there. So I feel great about Brooks Lee, and we've seen him hit third a lot because that's his powerful side, more lefty. Hits for a good average from the right side. I think they'd like to see him make better swing decisions, certainly right-handed, because he's got a very low walk rate, period, but it's certainly from the right side. Dom, I think he's walked maybe 3 or 4 times all year right-handed. They want to see those numbers go up. They think that if he's in more favorable counts right-handed, he'll have more power from that side. So against the lefty, now he bats third against righties, but could we see him bat third, bat fourth against lefties? I think we can if he shows better swing decisions. The batting average is fine, but you're looking for some run production, some power near the top of that lineup, and that's certainly part of Brooks's game that they want to see improve.
Last thing before we go to break, this is a guy we were talking about we wanted to see play, and I think we brought it up last week, was Alan Roden and his slide into home plate, and I think you brought it up on the show last week, boy, that was a dangerous slide, and of course, he ends up hurting his thumb, and now he's done, and that's tough because I'm sure the Twins wanted to get a look at him over the next month and a half, and now he can't play.
He was the first and only guy when all the trades went down. He was the only guy that joined the big league club right away in Cleveland. And, he first hurt the thumb. It was that Sunday game, the Roku game against the Royals. He made a great catch in the left field corner, and he slammed his glove, just making the play into the padding. That's when he first kind of hurt the thumb. And then, I don't know, and we had a chance to chat with Nick Popresta, head trainer, the other day, and we should have asked him, and we didn't, if he tore the ligament on that play, or did he tear the ligament on the head first slide? Yeah. I mean, it was certainly sore, but was there damage already done when he slammed into the wall? But then sliding head first, to me, that's a no-no. I think now more than ever, he's just massive. Too many things go wrong. I hate seeing it, and I can't tell you how many injuries I've seen. Head first slides, period.
Right.
Whether it's in second base, with shoulders and fingers and thumbs and wrists. But, man, at the plate, that seems like a no-no, and yet we see it all the time.
Francisco Alvarez, the great catcher for the Mets, did it on Sunday Night Baseball. Williamsport slid in. He's out now for a bit because he injured his thumb going into second base. It just can't do it. All right, let's break. We come back. We'll preview the weekend series of the White Sox and some potential maybe pitching guys coming up. We'll talk with that with Cory. His appearance is brought to us by Welton's Tire Service. Back for wrapping up Hour 1 right after this. Welcome back, everybody. Wrapping up our first hour. Cory Provus joining us in Chicago. His appearance was brought to us by Welton's Tire Service. We got Twins and White Sox coming up. You were mentioning me back with Denard Span this weekend, and I know you mentioned something in the broadcast I was listening yesterday on the Twins' approach on the base pass, that they're trying to do something. It's crazy. It's game 122, and trying to change things up, which just doesn't happen in baseball, Cory.
It just stood out, maybe because I see this team just about every single day, and then you look at, it was Wednesday's game, and all of a sudden they're running more. It's not Buxton, not even Martin. It's Larnach's running. Ryan Fitzgerald on a ball in the shallow right all of a sudden is trying for 2, and Larnach then is running, and there's things that are going on here. It's just and they're making some outs.
Yeah.
And Clemens, and I'm like, something's got to be up here. And then sure enough, Audra dove into it yesterday and had a great report on it that they're going to try and run more. The Twins, Fangraphs is a wonderful resource, and they have a base running stat. and the Twins are dead last. They are the worst base running team in baseball, that they have lost almost 9 runs. So how the math works out, for every 10 runs you score, that accounts to a win, right? So the Twins have lost almost 9 runs on the bases this season. So almost close to 1 win alone is a fault of their base running. Either 90 feet that they don't take, 90 feet they do poorly, lack of attempts. So they see those numbers and they buy in. You just can't pick and choose with numbers here. If you're going to kind of lean in on some stats and some analytics, then you have to be all in. You just can't lean on the positive.
Pick and
ones.
choose. Yep.
Right. So I think what we're seeing is, okay, they're trying some new things. They have a new team in many ways, some new pieces here, certainly younger, more athletic. Can we try and change who we are, our identity a little bit, since we don't have the same guys? And with that, there's going to be some outs you're going to make, and we saw that. So Denard Span is with me here on this road trip, really good base runner, and I think we're going to lean into that a little bit starting tonight, and curious to pick his brain about, can a team just change who they are, that part of their game this late into the season, and I'm curious to get his take on that.
Cory, I got an email actually about this, and we were visiting off air. Are there any chance we're going to see maybe some of the young Twins pitchers they acquired anytime soon on the mound?
I think so, only because the bullpen games lately haven't worked out.
Well,
I think if the whole bullpen idea was leading to some success, then I'm like, all right, fine. But the trades for Mick Abel and Taj Bradley, it made some sense. Remember, they were both in the minor leagues at the time. It wasn't like they were with the Phillies and the Rays respectively, and then they sent them down. They were in the minor leagues with their previous organizations for a reason. And I think with Mick Abel, I think it was to work on his breaking ball, specifically his sweeper. With Taj Bradley, his splitter. I would imagine, because of the lack of success they've had with the bullpen games, I think we see either Abel and or Bradley pretty soon. We know that Zebby Matthews is going tonight. The Twins listed, TBA for Saturday and Sunday. So it wouldn't shock me, Dom, if we see one of those guys, make their debut at some point in this series or on this road trip, just because the bullpen games haven't been working.
Pablo Lopez threw last night in St. Paul. What do we take from that? And then it seems he's determined he wants to get back and throw this year, which again, that goes more to him than anything, because the season is lost, that he wants to come back and somehow help this team in September.
Yeah, he went. It was supposed to be 3 innings or 45 pitches. I think he hit the 40, whichever came first. I think it was 45 pitches. I think he finished just under 2 innings, if memory serves, if I saw the stat line correctly last night. I don't care about any of the raw numbers. I think getting to 45 pitches, it sounded like his velo was good, about 94. Pablo, they're going to build him up. So build him up, 45 pitches. Next one will be about, 60, 65. And then you get to 5 innings around 80, 85. And then I think he's good to go. So I think you're looking at, early September is when Pablo comes back. But I think it's important to him. Yeah, he could shut it down with how the team is playing right now. He wants to come back. He wants to perform. He wants to still pitch and help his team out, man. He's one of one.
Yeah.
I've been lucky enough to be around 3 different teams over my 14 years covering big league ball. And I'm often asked, who are some of your favorites you've ever covered? And I have a guy from each team that I look back on and say, this guy made a difference on me and made a difference on how big leaguers treat each other and how they treat, the community, their team, and they're all pitchers. But Ryan Dempster with the Cubs, Trevor Hoffman with Milwaukee, and Pablo Lopez with the Twins. It's just those 3 guys. And I hate to just identify one guy, but it's hard not to just be in awe of what Pablo does on the field, off the field, who he is as a guy, the insight he provides. He's smart as anybody I know and cares about everybody. He's just a wonderful person. So it doesn't surprise me that he's not mailing it in and still wants to come back, compete, and help his team before the season ends.
Trivia question, a little fun before we go. How many different names has the White Sox ballpark had since Comiskey Park? What are we on now?
I'm thrilled with this one. Rate field. I was fine with guaranteed rate field. And it comes out every now and then. When I was a kid, I struggled with my R's and my W's. So I was, Wascally Wabbit guy. I mean, I was Elmer Fudd. So there's a word. So the word cellular.
Yeah.
To this day, the L's and the R, I had the hardest time saying U.S.
cellular field
without slowing it down.
Yeah.
And I was thrilled when they got rid of that. So then they went to guaranteed rate field.
Yeah.
Now it's rate field. That's fine. So anything to get out of, cellular field I was a fan of. I still slip every now and then and call it Comiskey.
Yeah.
My best friend, who I'm having brunch with here in a bit, diehard White Sox fan. We've been buds since I've been 5 years old. He's still my best friend to this day, 40-some years later. Diehard White Sox fan, season ticket holder. So I would go to games with him and his family because it was a ball game. And, I wanted them to lose, and I still do want them to lose, but I was never going to turn down a chance to go see a big league game. And so I've been at that ballpark. I don't know if I've been there more than as a fan, more than I was at Wrigley Field, but it's pretty close.
Yeah.
It's pretty close because I didn't have it in to get Cub tickets. We just had to see what we could get and try and go and get some tickets here and there during the season. But I'm curious about the crowds starting tonight because White Sox obviously are bad, but their second half numbers, don't sleep on them. Their offense is much better since the All-Star break, but I still think Friday night fireworks, Chicago, summertime, they're going to draw pretty well.
Did you see yesterday the Cubs honored Euchre by playing him singing the seventh inning stretch from years ago?
Did they? Yeah.
That's really cool.
He would do that. I didn't see that yesterday,
Yeah.
but he would do that every now and then. And, I always asked him, I said, what do you do when it's time to root?
Right.
He said, just put the microphone out there and just let him say. Once in a while I said Brewers, they would boo. I don't care. But, he's that's awesome. I didn't see that yesterday. That's good to hear.
It's great to see you, bud. Have a great call this weekend. We'll do it again next Friday, okay?
All right, Dom. Thanks, pal.
Good to see you. There he goes. Cory Provus. His appearances brought to us by Welton's Tire Service out of Lisbon. We appreciate their sponsorship of his segment. Twins and Sox coming up tonight, 6:30, 6 o'clock on Saturday, and 1 o'clock on Sunday. Again, maybe they'll bring up some of these young guys. That's probably the only reason now to watch over the next month and a half of the season. We'll break. We come back. We got a football-heavy second hour. Josh Krivarchka from second-ranked Langdon will join us. Season opener for the Cardinals. Maurice Drayton coming up in hour 2 as well. We're back after this.
This is Hot Mike.
Hot Mike.
On the networks of WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo.
Welcome back, everybody. Busy second hour, ready to rock and roll on a football Friday. Citadel head football coach Maurice Drayton will join us in about 15 minutes. Looking forward to that, to preview the opener with the Bison and the Bulldogs coming up a week from tomorrow. But before that, we got games tonight in North Dakota. 9-man in Class A. They've been practicing for about 8 minutes, and now they got to go play a football game. We'll check in later in the hour on the Region 4 Rumble going on tomorrow out in Mandan. But tonight, we got games in Class A. I got numerous requests for our next guest. I'm not kidding, for get him on the show. Langdon Area-Munich head coach Josh Krivarchka back with us. The Cardinals are the preseason number 2 team in Class A, and they open tonight with Oaks. It's great to see you, bud. How you been?
It's here, Dom.
Yeah.
It's good to see you too. I feel like this is kind of the time of year I get to chat with you about some football, and it's whether you like it or not, it's here, and we're excited.
It is tradition, so I appreciate you doing this. I mentioned you've been practicing for 2 weeks. You feel like it's time for a game, or I'm sure you could use another week of practice, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's always a couple ways of thinking. I think, nowadays you get the kids a lot more in the summertime. And, so you feel like you're pretty confident in what you got on Friday night. But, there's the excitement, there's the nerves, and, we're just excited to see where we're at and see what we can improve on tonight, I guess.
I mentioned you still get that for tonight, open at night before kickoff. You think you'll have that?
Yeah, I mean, I think if I don't get nervous before a Friday night game, probably be time to hang up the whistle. It's just you just worry about every little thing, and then all of a sudden you start looking at the weather a week out, and now it looks like it's going to be we're in a wind advisory, of course. So it's you just start to worry about everything else. So it's always exciting, and but as a head coach, you just worry about every little thing.
You're doing some last minute game plan changes because of that, then?
You go through every scenario in your head. Should we go for it instead of punting into a 40-mile-an-hour wind in your own 20-yard line? I mean, it's just you start thinking about all those type of things. But you're excited for the kids too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's their first time to go out on a Friday night, and they're going to have some nerves too. But that's good too, and just to see where we're at.
You had a dynamite team last year. You lost to the team that won it all eventually in Velva. What about that? Is that a inspiring thing from last year? Do you even need to bring it up to the guys of how last year ended for this year's team?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is, we ran into a really good Velvet team. They were head and shoulders, above us last year. We understand that we bring a lot of kids back from last year, and just to get to that, that game was big for our kids. We had a lot of underclassmen, and to see the level that Velva was at, just kind of motivated our kids. Really seen it in the off season. Kids put in a ton of work, and they know to play at that level and to get to, I think it's November 14th we got circled, that to get to that point, there's a lot that has to go right. But you got to be playing at a high level to get there. Is
this any solace for you or your guys that the last two seasons have been ended by the team that won it all? That you're on the right path? Is that how do you feel about that? Is that just a weird stat that goes with it?
There's no solace in it, I guess. Whether you lose in the state semifinals or the state championship, it's great to get to those moments in those games. But obviously you want to end up the season being the last team standing. But it's a credit to the kids that we've got to those points, and we've given ourselves a chance to win them football games. So you just hope that you can take it a step further this year, and obviously throughout a season like this, when you don't have tons and tons of numbers, you got to have a lot of things go right. You got to stay healthy, and you got to catch some breaks at times. And it's a long season, and you just got to take it one Friday night at a time.
I'm always interested on this, and we may have talked about this in past interviews, so I apologize if it's a repeat question, but the level of success you've had, has that led to more guys coming? Now that you had that unbelievable run a few years ago, so maybe now you have a better idea of it. Has that been the case, or not so much?
No, I mean, I would say, we are right around the 30 kids, which we've had, I would say, for the last 10 years. It's give or take. Maybe we'll get to 32. Maybe we'll be at 28. It's just kind of right at that number. The one thing I've noticed, is there's never we never don't get the kids.
Yeah.
Like we always get the main kids that there's never a question mark of, I just don't know, and he's a really good athlete. We always get the kids that we really want out. It's just always kind of the question marks. Can we get other kids out that want to be a part of the program, want to be part of the team? And some come out and some don't, which they got to make that decision too.
For your team, you mentioned a lot back. How much has that made camp easier? Like, have you been? I don't have to do a lot of hands-on coaching because guys know what they need to be doing.
Well, I mean, obviously we have our quarterback back, which he was an all-stater last year, which that's always makes it easier in that sense. But it's still a lot of hands-on. I mean, we're still moving parts around, and we feel like we have some really good athletes on the outside, and but they haven't really shown it on a Friday night. So, just to try to get them on the same page as our quarterback. And then, it's always a work in progress with the offensive line. I think anybody would say this from day one to when you get to near the playoffs, the offensive line just improves so much throughout the season. So you're still coaching them hard throughout the season to try to get to that point. And, everything starts to look better as you get closer to game week. And that's tonight.
How many more Rumfos you have up there?
Well, this would be the last one for a while. I mean, there's some lineage down in the elementary school right now, but
gotta wait for that.
But as of right now, this is the last Rumfo is a senior now, and so we won't see them for a while on the Langdon.
And everybody in Class A is happy about that. By the way, that this is tell us about Theo. What makes him a special player for your team?
Just a big physical football player. I mean, he's all a 6'2", 230, and he plays tight end, D end. Just hard to block on the defensive side of the football, and we like to use our tight end a lot, especially in the run game on the offensive side of the football. And just a great leader. He just really growing up over the years, and just like all the Rumfos, they seem to be gamers. They like to play on Friday nights, and they just really get after it.
I have to ask, we were visiting off air, and we've talked plenty about different teams moving. Class A seems to be forgotten only because of who's not there now. And how different is that? We were visiting off air. The Kindred and Central Cass are gone. Velva's obviously still there. You guys are there. How does that change the Valley City is now a Class A school? How does that change the complexion of Class A in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is, I would say, Kindred and Cashland leaving like two very successful programs. We don't get to see them like Region 1 does. I would say that, it makes more of an impact on them. Yeah. Just the confidence that some of them teams can build because they know they're not going and playing Kindred or Castleton on their schedule. We see them in the playoffs and stuff like that, and we played them non-region, but and they're at the point where they have more numbers. They have 55 to 60 kids. I think they're going to be successful at the level they're at. That's it's a good class for them. I think that overall, like you said earlier, like just the trickle down effect where I don't think we got AAA quite right yet.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes into AA. I don't think single A is off by that much. I think we're in a pretty good place there. Now, would teams go up to AA if it was a little different from our level? Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. That's hard to say. But I think our level is at a pretty good point right now. But the AA and AAA is kind of it's in a weird level right now. I just think it could be better there.
Yeah, it's just we've talked about it. I've spent so much airtime on it. It just shake my head on it. I bet maybe one day we'll get this right. Before I let you go, and I really appreciate you doing this on short notice today, give me the game day environment, like today, like leading up to kickoff. What's the opening night? You're at home. What's that like for people in Langdon for tonight?
Obviously, there's lots of excitement. I think, the last 10 years around here, there's always lots of excitement for home games. People usually like to park their cars by the football field early and not necessarily tonight, but you get into October, November in Langdon, North Dakota, the weather's a little different.
No doubt.
They like to get to their cars and warm up at halftime and maybe even watch from there when it's 20 degrees out and there's snow on the ground. But you just the smell of the grill and it's the smoke blowing and just we have the band there a few games throughout the year, but the music going and the warm-ups it's just special. Just in a small town, everybody comes to the games on Friday night. You got the kids running around on the practice field thinking that they're going to play on Friday night. It's just a special environment, and I think most small towns are like that. Everybody takes pride in their fields. We've been watering our field since May, since we came to make sure the grass is as green as can
Nice.
be, and then all of a sudden it dies at the end of September anyways. But it's just it's got that special feeling, and everybody likes to kick it off on Friday night.
Did you make Oaks leave like last night? That's a long trip for Oaks to come up to you guys tonight.
Well, we went there last year for our opener, so they're returning the favor this year. It is a long trip. It's all 3 hours to go, and like Coach Dobitz likes to say, they've been here a lot.
That's
in
true.
The playoff stuff, and so we played them in the first round of the playoffs last year, even. So he said they know the road and they know the distance and time. So but like I say too, is Oaks is always a quality football team, and we want to play quality football teams in our non-region games. So we're excited to play them, and we're excited to host them tonight.
It's great to see you, bud. Thanks so much for doing this. Good luck tonight, and we'll talk during the season, okay?
All right, appreciate it, Dom.
Good to see you, man. There he goes, Josh Krivarchka, head coach of Langdon Area-Munich. They face off against Oaks tonight, one of the games starting off week 0 of the high school football season in North Dakota. All right, we'll break. We come back. You Bison fans, get ready for this. Citadel head coach Maurice Drayton will join us as the Bulldogs get ready for the Bison. We're 1 week out from that. We're heading to Charleston next when Hot Mike returns. Welcome back, everybody. Hot Mic rolls on a football Friday. 7 days from now, we are heading down to Charleston, South Carolina to open up the 2025 college football season. North Dakota State will take on the Citadel. Our Bison Game Day pregame show begins at 10 a.m. and then right into kickoff at 11 a.m. You'll see it live on WDAY. Apparently, we become the SoCon coaches show because yesterday we had Coach Jacobs from Mercer on, and we were pleased to have Maurice Drayton join us, the head coach of the Citadel, as they get ready to take on the Bison. Now, the last time we chatted, you told me your parking spot has been taken by Bison tailgaters. Did you get it back? Have you reclaimed it?
I did not. You guys have it. You guys have the whole parking lot, and that's okay. We're great hosts.
It's great to see you. Here we are a week out. Give us the lowdown, how camp has gone, and anticipation in Charleston for what's to come next week.
Yeah, camp has went surprisingly well, surprisingly smooth. You have your normal bumps and bruises during camp. Just implementing our 3 phases, our 3 systems. We've covered a lot of ground, but we still have a long way to go. We're excited about this opportunity, and it's here.
You mentioned when we talked back in May on what you wanted to see out of camp, get us ready for not just the first game, but obviously for what's to come in the Southern Conference. Has that gone according to plan for what you've seen over the last 25, 28 days?
Yes, we made strides. We want to become a better team at situational football. We have to be relaxed and comfortable when we're in these situations. I do believe that more games are lost than actually won in the first quarter of the season. So we want to be really good with the rules, fouls, etc., and situational ball. And I believe we've closed the gap as far as that entails.
Tell us about your quarterback situation. I know you're going to spill the beans here with us, but I know your starter got banged up. Where are you guys at with your quarterback right now?
Yeah, it's no secret in today's technology. Our starter literally was standing in front of the camera on like one of the first days of camp, and so everybody sees him in a sling. They're like, "What happened?" So, a quick story on him, Dustin Fletcher. We don't have a collective. We don't have the NIL. So our guys work. So he's working as a host in a local Charleston restaurant. He's carrying several glasses, and he tripped and fell, and, he hurt himself. Truth of the matter is he will not be back for this game. It's okay to go ahead and say it because it is public. But we got 3 guys that had the opportunity to take a lot of reps. I'm not ready to name a starter yet. But these 3 individuals in Kobe Tompkins, Quentin Hayes, and Cooper Tankersley, these guys have done a great job of battling, and I look forward to see who's going to emerge out front.
Quentin Hayes is a name we caught wind of. I played at the Air Force Academy last year, started there, really nimble with his legs. For a guy that got in late, how difficult is that to get with your system when he didn't get there till so late in the process?
And it is difficult, and that could be part of the reason why we have not named a starter yet. Our guys who were here, they know the system. They're comfortable with the system. They have the rhythm and the timing of our backs, our receivers. And, Quentin's still trying to get in that rhythm as well. So it's been a great fight. It's been a great position battle. I can't wait to see who rises to the top. Now, there's an old adage. If you have more than one quarterback, you don't have a quarterback. So I do know we got to solidify this and button it up rather quickly.
You bleed this school. You played there. You've coached there a couple times. Now you're the head coach. And when we talked about this back in May, but for people that didn't see that, just describe your personal relationship with this school and how big a deal it is. You're now the head coach there.
Well, it's huge, and it's really not about me. It's about those who've gone before me, who had the opportunity, who were qualified to.
We got you.
Hello, you still?
Yeah, we got you. You're good. Yep, you're good.
Yeah, it's not about me. It's about those who went before me, those who were really qualified to have this position, but for whatever reason didn't get the opportunity. So, we're doing it for them. We're doing it for those groundskeepers that have helped so many people matriculate and graduate from this institution. We're doing it for the custodial staff. We're doing it for what we call the mess hall staff. We're doing it for those professors who dialed into, the student athletes' future. So it's not about me. It's really about the community. It's the local community as well. So we're just proud that they allow me to carry this title. But it truly is about our community.
We had video of you the first day at camp wearing a hoodie. Was that you trying to prove it's not hot? Like, what is that about, man? Holy cow, that's crazy.
No, it's not about proving it's not hot. It actually protects you. So, when I coach with I always wore long sleeve, long pants. As long as it's loose, it protects your skin.
Yeah.
And, working as a kid growing up in lawn care and out in the fields, we always wore long clothing. It's from a protection standpoint. No, it's not. I'm not trying to prove anything. And, we were speaking earlier. It hasn't been hot here. I'm like, you guys, I'm telling you, you're tapped in with the big man upstairs. It's been cool temperatures. Next week is scheduled to be cool. I just don't, if we're leaning on that, it won't be a factor. I can tell you that.
Let me ask about, for people that don't know about the players you get, how do you recruit to a school like this as a military school, knowing the requirements that go all off the field? Can you give us a little in-depth for how that works, of how you approach a prospective student athlete to come and want to play for your football team?
Yeah, so it's no secret. This is a special place. It's a unique place. We do live a military lifestyle. A third of our graduates actually go into the U.S. Armed Forces as a second lieutenant. When in the recruiting process, we have to find a young man's why. We like young men who are starving for success. We like young men who are a little more mature than the average 17 to 19-year-old coming out of high school. Once we figure out their why, we remind them and we help them and we make sure they understand we're going to help them get to their why. We call it trading 4 for 40. If you give us these 4 years of your life, we're going to set you up for the next 40. And it's been proven to work for us. We are a leadership laboratory. So, I can't say enough good things about the type of individual we get.
The fact you you told me when we met in May that you were the worst team in the FCS. You won 5 games last year. Are you on the path you thought, like the timeline, I guess, are you ahead of schedule? You thought where you'd be now in year 3?
Yeah, to be honest with you, we're not where we wanted to be in year 3. But if you're perfectly honest, if you ask any coach, we're never satisfied, right? So, no, we're not where we wanted to be, but we're going to get there. And this is a total program build. I can't speak enough about it. It's more than just the football players. It's more than just the weight room. It's an organizational build. It's a cultural build. Perennial powers like North Dakota State University, it's at the top, from the president to the provost to the professors to admissions to financial aid to intramural sports. It encompasses all of that. So we're still in that process of trying to build that so we all can swim in the same direction.
You are a special teams maven. That's what you've made your bones with. Why is that so important? I know it's 3 faces of the game. It's offense, defense, special teams. But what about it really appealed to you that this is where you spent so much of your time, and it's obviously shown with the teams you've coached?
Yeah, so as a football player, I was 5'7", 145 pounds, and during that time, it was like, just put him on special teams. So that's how I was able to cut my teeth, and I fell in love with it. And so, being on special teams, as I dig deeper at the details, it's the play in football that averages 40+ yards. And last time I checked, yards equals points. The hidden yardage in special teams is where you can make your hay. And I truly believe if you understand that, you believe in that, you hang your hat on that, it will set up your offenses and defenses to have success. We want to play half-court offense and full-court defense.
Last thing before I let you go, and I really appreciate you giving us a few minutes here, tell us about when you've seen the Bison on tape, what stands out and what say this is going to be something we have to do if we want to win the football game next Saturday?
Yeah, so as you're asking the question, you saw a little smirk or a laugh. It's because I cannot find a chink in their armor. I'm serious. Even when you watch the discipline of the sideline, where people stand, when it goes to a timeout, how they stand at a timeout, how the communication and the authentication of the communication is on the same page when you watch their film as they give checks. I tell you what, this is a well coached organization. Coach Polisek and his crew, they do a fine job. But when I find the chink in their armor, we'll try to gain an advantage from that standpoint. But we haven't seen anything yet. This is a very, very good football team in all of football, not just FCS.
All right, so you're telling me if fans are leaving later next week, it's not hot. Where are we heading? Where's the spot for people to go? When I know there's about 8 million places. Is there a couple to hit when they get to Charleston?
Absolutely. You want to visit our beaches. Anywhere downtown has great shopping. But if I had one place in particular to go, I would go to Over the Horizon Brewery. I tell you that they're Citadel graduates.
Okay.
We will treat you as our own. Just come in and have a beverage, have some pizza. And I tell you, you can't go wrong with that.
I really appreciate the time, Coach. Thanks so much for doing this. Look forward to seeing you in person next week, okay?
Yes, sir. Take care. You guys travel safe.
There he goes. Maurice Drayton, head coach at the Citadel. The Bulldogs and the Bison coming up next Saturday. You'll see it live on WDAY. Game day coverage gets us started at 10, and we're leading you right into the game at 11 a.m. He says it's not going to be hot. I don't know what that means. We've already appealed to not wear suits. That's been denied because I thought it would be 95 and humid. Nobody would look good at that, but hopefully it doesn't look too bad. And nothing severe. It's hurricane season down there, but it looks like we're going to be okay on that. Appreciate his time. That was awesome. If you missed it, we'll podcast it later and get you ready. Here we go. Game week officially now underway for the Bison and the Citadel. We'll break. We come back. We got to talk some North Dakota 9-man ball to wrap up the week. The Region 4 Rumble is back tomorrow in Mandan. We'll preview that when Hot Mike returns after this. Welcome back, everybody. Look at that. Picture perfect blue sky out there, ready for the opening night of high school football. It's going to feel like it, apparently. Our Storm Tracker meteorologist saying it's going to be like 65 tonight. What is happening? On August 22nd, when we're all ready for like 85 or 90. I know a couple years ago for our next guest, they were dealing with that for the Region 4 Rumble is back tomorrow in Mandan. If you are a fan of North Dakota 9-man football, Mandan is the place to be from 10 o'clock in the morning till basically 10 o'clock at night. There's going to be football games going out there. Brian Nieuwsma joins us, Flashers principal and athletic director, who one of the guys who gets this all set up, joins us on the show. We did this a couple years ago, and it's great to have him back with us to talk about it. First off, it's great to see you. Thanks for doing this. Second, the response to do this a couple years ago, what was it? And you say, hey, we got to, if we have the opportunity, we got to do this again.
There's a number of benefits doing this, and the response that we got back from all the different communities was overwhelmingly supportive. They really enjoyed the day. You get to see different people from different communities that you connect with, and you get to watch a ton of great football. So the response was supportive, and we said, yep, we got to make sure that we keep this going.
So here are the lineup of games starting tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Standing Rock against Grant County Flasher, followed by Kidder County and Henninger County at 12:30. Beach and Napoleon get going at 3, which Zero will like. You got them going at 3 o'clock. Nice work on that. Henninger Scranton.
For him.
Henninger Scranton and Linton HMV at 5:30, and then Richardson Taylor Hebron and New Salem Almont. The Holsteins will wrap it up at 8 o'clock. Have you found, I know other teams, like other regions, said, hey, we'd like to get in. Have you heard any feedback on that, or has it gotten to that point yet?
So 2 years ago when we were able to do this, I got some feedback from teams out east. The representatives from the University of Jamestown reached out wondering, hey, is this something that we could do? Yeah. And so it's just an exciting day of football and a great way to kick off the season. Years and years ago, when I played high school football, they used to have this at the Bismarck Community Bowl. So it's kind of going back to those ties.
Brian, to have the kids, especially the 9-man guys, to have a chance to play on turf, the only other time maybe is the Dakota Bowl. How cool is that? How big a deal, especially for your guys tomorrow to lead off to do this tomorrow morning?
Oh, they're super excited. It's just a treat to be able to do that, and it's something that you mentioned the weather earlier. When you're in the dog days of fall camp and it's hot out, you have that carrot in front of those kids. Hey, you're going to open on a turf field in front of a big crowd. Yeah. So all the work is worth it. The organization of this, how early in the do you have to start doing this and reach out to different facilities like Mandan and say, hey, we've got 10 teams. We'd like to come play here. So this year, with doing it a couple of years ago, it was a little bit smoother, but back then where there was a lot of unknowns. So we started at our fall meetings when the state combined our two regions into one big one. And so we said, hey, do you guys want to bring it back? And all the ADs were on board, contacted the facility manager there at the Starion Sports Complex, and he was overwhelmingly in support of it as well, and signed off, and then we got the ball rolling. We kind of treat it like a regional basketball tournament or volleyball tournament, and all the member schools that are participating, they have people that help take tickets, people that are running the clock, so it takes a lot of work, but kudos to all the ADs in the region for helping making it happen.
How big a deal is this? I always call the state track meet as the biggest, family reunion we have in North Dakota. Is this a chance to do that as well, to kind of start the year off together, to see everybody at the same spot?
You're right. That's a great analogy with the family reunion, because you're there and the coaches, get there about 2 hours early. So they're visiting with other coaches. Some are hanging around. Some might disappear to a restaurant or something now that it's going to be on PSP to watch. But they'll usually stick around for a little bit before or after.
I appreciate you bringing that up on the streaming part of that, because for those of us looking for football tomorrow, we got college, you got high school games, because the games are all going to be streaming as well tomorrow, right?
Yeah, yep. They reached out and got that set up, so it'll be streamed as well.
That's fantastic. And that's another thing that, granted, it's happening more so, but not a lot of 9-man teams get their games streamed like that. That's got to be pretty cool as well.
Yeah, so it's they got a lot of benefits with this, with the streaming, the ability to play on turf, and then also when you look at a lot of the schools that are participating, when you go to a 9-game schedule, you have 4 home, 4 away.
Yeah.
Well, now who gets that 5th home game? Well, now that kind of takes that out of the equation. And then you mentioned Beach. Well, they're in that afternoon slot because they've got the furthest drive to get there.
He always complains about something, so I got to give him a hard time. And by the way, you guys go there next week, correct?
Seems like we've been going there like 5 years in a row. So, next week we head out there.
So, what is that like administratively wise, knowing you got to plan for a trip like that? What does that all entail when you go to Beach?
So, it's some coordination, but we've been doing it a lot of years. So, it's when we leave, and then you kind of coordinate stop time. And our community is super supportive of football between Flasher, Carson, and Elgin. So, we have parents that'll get together lunch for the guys on the road, and so it goes pretty smooth, and it's part of the nature of the beast. You're gonna have to travel.
It's football. That's the whole point about it. That's why I don't understand when they talk about it's this far. Well, it's football. It's for once a week. What is that about 2.5? How far is that from you guys?
Flasher, it's about 3 hours.
Okay, all right, that's not bad.
No.
We got other teams doing that for regular season games on a Tuesday.
My sons, we went to watch a Twins game a couple of years ago, and then about a month later we had a game in Beach. And I'm like, Dad, that wasn't that bad of a road trip.
The excitement level for this to get it started. How much is this maybe a tone setter for you guys tomorrow to start with Standing Rock? Hopefully get a win and then get things going from there.
Yeah, you hope to come out. Game 1, there's always going to be some things that when you look at the film that you need to fix. But you hope to come out with great energy and effort and kind of build out momentum to jumpstart your season.
I got you here. I want to talk a couple non-football things. We're now getting ready for 3-class volleyball. I'm intrigued on your level, how that changes things. Does it make things more competitive out there you guys have more of a chance to make the state tournament? I'm curious about that.
You know, we've had a strong tradition in volleyball. We've been really close the last couple of years in the regional tournament, and you know, we're looking forward to the 3-class system. You know, there's some changes with that where you know, teams that maybe you wouldn't have played, but now they're a part of your district and region. So those bugs, I guess, the first, we'll work those out and kind of address them as they come.
What's been the reaction, Brian, for basketball over the last couple of years, and how much do you look at that as a blueprint for what volleyball can be going forward?
You know, I look at just the state qualifying games that they have. I mean, the atmosphere in those arenas and just every game is important and means something. So I think when people look at that, they can be like, okay, now we have this for volleyball. And so there's an excitement with that.
I appreciate you doing this today, bud, especially getting out of, you're already working here to give us a few minutes. What's tomorrow like for you? Are you running around like crazy during the game, or you actually get a chance to watch?
There's a couple moments where you feel like your hair is on fire. Terry will pick me up pretty early, and then we'll be there to shut off the lights. So it is a long day, but it's worth it, and it's you get to watch a lot of football.
So
What's better?
I was going to ask that. You're going to stick. So you're not leaving after you guys are done. You're sticking around all day.
Yep.
Is there a couple athletes or teams we should keep, not yours related, that we should maybe for us out east to keep an eye on tomorrow?
You know, they just released the polls, and a couple of the teams that'll be there are receiving votes or in the polls. You know, there's a lot of teams that have strong football tradition, so it'll be a good day of football. A lot of good athletes flying around.
So Linton is one, and you can be humble that his team is receiving votes as well. Grant County Flasher is in there in the 9-man poll. Hey, I really appreciate you doing this, but especially on short notice. Thanks so much. Have a great year, and we'll catch up down the road, okay?
Sounds great. Thanks, Dom.
There he goes. Brian Nieuwsma from Flasher, principal and athletic director. Grant County Flasher will start things tomorrow. Eric, if we throw that video up again for the schedule tomorrow for the Region 4 Rumble. So here are the games again tomorrow. If you're interested, I know we got plenty of people watch us on this part of the state. In Mandan tomorrow, Standing Rock, Grant County Flasher started at 10 a.m. Kidder County and Hettinger County at 12:30. Our guy Mike Zier's Beach team will play Napoleon Gackle Streeter at 3. At 5:30, Hettinger Scranton, the Nighthawks, one of my all-time favorite nicknames, against Linton HMB at 5:30. And then wrap it up with Richardson Taylor Hebron at 8. Against the Holsteins from New Salem Almont at 8 o'clock. That is 5 9-man games tomorrow, and we are off and rolling in the season. The 9-man poll that came out yesterday, LLM number 1, we had Andy Delabar on the show earlier this week. New Rockford Cheyenne is ranked 2nd, the defending state champs, with Elliot Belquist's squad. North Border comes in 3. Linton HMB, who you'll see there tomorrow, is 4. And Mohall Lansford Sherwood is ranked 5th. With Grant County Flasher, Jason Moneylaw's Hankinson team getting some votes, and West Hope Newburgh Glenburn, which has been the dynamite team led by Walker Broughton over the last 2 years. They are the Sioux. So we're off and rolling. When we come back on Monday, we'll have games played, which is just exciting to talk about. All right, we've come to the end of the road. We'll take our final break. We come back. We'll wrap things up. We got a few emails to get to. Get you ready for our first football watching weekend of the year. Hot Mike will wrap after this. All right, wrapping things up here for the week. If you missed any of our shows, we had a great week of guests. We had Matt Entz on yesterday. If you missed that, go back and check it out. That was fun. Just a tremendous lineup. Looking forward to that. Next week, we start our usual football content for the year, which nothing changes on Monday because we've had Sam Herter and Kolpak on year-round. Our Bison video blog will be back. That'll be on Monday. The Bison Media Zone returns on Wednesday at 10:30 to take up the final half hour of this program. So we're off and rolling. It's game week. It starts on Monday. Tim Polassek's season opening press conference will come Tuesday at 1:30. We'll carry that for you as well. So it is all here. A couple emails come in from earlier on our show. The news broke on Adam Thielen. I did not know this. Don, did you know today is Adam Thielen's birthday? I did not know that. August 22nd, 1990. So happy 35th birthday to Adam. latest reporting, Diana Rossini reporting this about 10 minutes ago, that the Vikings have been actively in the market for a veteran wide receiver, making calls around the league to see what fits. Adam Thielen is among the names on their list. I'm told nothing serious has been discussed at this time. So that's, I don't know if that refutes what Schefter reported earlier. There's about 18 million NFL insiders, but she's good, knows what she's talking about, and plugged in with almost every team. So we'll see. I have to imagine when we come back Monday, the Vikings have made a deal for a wide receiver, whether it's Thielen or some other veteran. Amari Cooper is still available, right? He's out there. I don't know if he's washed, if it's donezo for him, but there's guys out there that they could be talking about here. Email from earlier, Dom, on the Twins. These players aren't getting any better because they're just average players. You can't win with them. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to go that far. I'd like to know what the process is going for. Why, and going back to what Cory Provus said off the top, why has the development stunted at the major league level? Like, the guys are progressing through the minors, and then when they get to the majors, it just does not click. Larnick, Wallner, Julian, there are guys there that just... Now Royce Lewis seems like he's taking a massive backward step in 2025. And you've got high hopes for Walker Jenkins and Kalen Culpepper of coming through the minors here. Now the Tait guy they traded for, the catcher from the Phillies, they want them to develop to become good major league players. I mean, the A's have it. The Rays do it all the time. The Twins, it doesn't seem to... It just can't click. Going back earlier, Dom, Valley City gets a nice welcome to Class A football for the first 2 weeks of the season. We're getting the defending state champions and preseason number 1 in Velva. They got that game tonight. And then preseason number 2, Langdon, next week. Former Bison assistant Chad Smith is now the coach out at Valley City. Took over there for the Highliners, so we wish them good luck. Yeah, it almost seems forgotten in the mix of Horace moving up and Central Cass and Kindred going. Valley City moved down. They're now a Class A school, which you can complain about that. They're Class A. They're in the middle tier in basketball. Have been since we got to 3 classes 2 years ago. That this is where things are at. That might be the right level that they're playing at. We'll see. That's a heck of a way to start, though, with Velva and Langdon for weeks 1 and 2. That's not great. But looking forward to that to get us going there. So appreciate all the emails coming in over this show and all week. We've had some great interaction with people and looking forward to a dynamite football season. A reminder tonight, First Down Friday, I believe a lighter version of it tonight on WDAY at 10 o'clock on Channel 6, part of a huge sports night. We mentioned the Vikes going tonight, so looking forward to that. All right, we got to do some What to Watch. Let's do it before we get out of here. We do 2 versions on Friday because we get you ready for not only tonight, but also the weekend. So here we go. Vikes tonight against the Titans. Again, it's on CBS tonight, 7 o'clock. Battle to see who's going to be the backup quarterback, who's going to be the number 3 running back up on the line. Well, if you're a diehard Vikes fan, that's the reason to watch tonight. Lynx are in action tonight on Ion against the Indiana Fever, 6:30 for that one. Lynx trying to stop a 2-game losing streak. I haven't said that all season long. I don't think Caitlin Clark's playing tonight. I don't think Nafisha Collier's playing tonight, but doesn't diminish. It should be a good basketball game, 6:30 tonight. And the Tour Championship second round of the Golf Channel gets going here in just a little bit for the final PGA event of the season. Russell Henley is your leader at 9 under. Shot 61 yesterday. Tommy Fleetwood is a stroke back. Cam Young, Ludwig Oberg, Justin Thomas at 7 under. Where's our guy Scheffler? He's 7 under. So we'll come back on Monday. We do our best of the weekend. He's probably won the thing. Gosh, that would be maybe the greatest PGA season we've seen since Tiger Woods if he's able to do that. He's already got it. If he adds the Tour Championship, then it's over. So that's coming up later today, 12 o'clock on the Golf Channel. We also do What to Watch for the weekend. And yes, we have football on there. Iowa State, K-State tomorrow, 11 a.m. on ESPN. That's the greatest way to get the college football season going from Ireland with Farmageddon. We'll look forward to that tomorrow on ESPN. Then, primetime tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, Mercer, UC Davis, FCS kickoff game. We'll recap that in full with Sam Herder coming up on the show on Monday. And the back end of the Home and Home. Fever and Lynx, Sunday night. That's on CBS Sports Network, 6 o'clock on Sunday at Target Center. We got to roll. Thanks to our guests today, to Cory Provus, to Josh Krivarchka, to Maurice Drayton, and to Brian Nieuwsma. If you missed any of our packed show, you can podcast it later today at Inforum.com. You can watch a full replay on WDAY+. Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy the football wherever you're at. We'll recap it on Monday. Thanks for watching. We'll see you then.